Welcome to Chicago Now on this Thursday. Look at this lineup we have today.
Hello.
Hey,
this
everyone.
is fun.
From behind the scenes to in front of the camera, we have Jenna Carroll in the house. I think the last time you might have seen Jenna, she was hoisted up about 5 feet in the air by these massive rugby players.
Yes.
Jenna, have you properly recovered from that
I have.
situation?
You know what? They actually offered me a job. So
No.
I might be on the rugby. Oh, no, not
They're
like
not taking you away
no,
from us.
But I might
On the
play
rugby
rugby.
team?
Yeah, I might play
Love
rugby
it.
on the weekends. So why not?
Well, you've got the mindset for it. You've got the mindset for it. She's a tough cookie. We have Justine Baker in the house as well, joining us on this kind of pre-holiday Thursday. Justine, how are you feeling heading into this holiday weekend? You got any fun plans?
I'm feeling great. I'm just hanging out with some family, gonna see a fireworks show, eat good food, no complaints.
How about you, Jenna?
Love it. I'm actually going up to Necedah, Wisconsin. If anyone is familiar, very tiny town. My parents have a little lake house.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
we're very excited. This is actually, my nephew is a year and change. This is his first time going up there.
Oh.
So big family event. Very excited. I'm going to try skiing this weekend.
Ooh.
Yes.
I'm thinking there's
Have you
going to
ever
be burgers on the grill,
Yes.
little fireworks,
Yes.
maybe some corn on the
done
cob,
that? 100%.
you know, some jumping off the dock.
Yes. Also, fun fact about the Carroll family, we love a good casino.
Oh.
So if you're familiar with Wisconsin at all, Ho Chunk is
Yes, the
there.
Ho Chunk
the Ho
Casino,
Chunk Casino.
yes.
My dad packs up the car with all of, because now we're all of age, we're all over 21, except for my nephew, he won't be going.
Yeah, the 1-year-old.
Just to make that known. And we all go and we just all huddle around one slot machine and we just each put in $20.
What's the most amount of money you've ever won?
Okay, fun fact, I never have won. My family though, my dad last time we were there won $1,200.
Stop.
Yes.
Nice.
Now
On the slot machine?
On the slot machine. Now, how much he put in, I have no idea. He just was like $1,200.
Okay.
You know, so
Okay.
we could have been like
We
net
don't know if
100.
that's net or
Yeah.
gross. Yeah, big
So-
distinction there.
Right.
But it's a lot of fun. We always have a good time.
Okay, well
But-
that sounds unbelievable. Justine was just asking me my plans and I'm drawing a blank. This is what happens when you have kids. I know there's a barbecue in the neighborhood and I know that there is a haircut that I'm taking my son to. He's about to go to Wisconsin as well for sleepaway camp.
For how
To
long?
look sharp.
Yeah, well, you
10
got it.
days. 10 days. This is a first. Any advice, please leave it in the comments for me. This is the first time we will be away
Wow.
from our 9-year-old.
Wow.
Right?
9.
But he's excited.
That's good.
What's he most
cabin.
excited about?
I think he's just excited about the whole experience. He is going with one of his best buddies. They are going to be placed in the same cabin, so that is great. That's kind of a little, comfort
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
You go with someone you know, a familiar face. And then, the camp has been around for more than 100 years. There's this deep tradition there. And, they've got all the, I'm sure you're familiar. Have you been up to Wisconsin yet?
I have.
Okay,
I
but you're
absolutely
from
love
Michigan, so it's
Wisconsin.
very. There's a lot of overlap there,
Yep.
but just the lakes and the North
so nice.
Woods,
Yep.
it's just so gorgeous, and all the camp stuff, archery, horseback riding, swimming,
Oh, I'm
the
jealous.
sports.
Right?
Wouldn't that be
That
so
sounds like
fun?
Such a great
Yeah.
vacation.
Wouldn't that be
That's
so
good
fun?
for him.
So, yeah,
Do you think
it
he'll get
works out.
homesick?
Yes, we're
Yeah.
trying to prep him for that.
Yeah.
I'm writing letters and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've written like 4 or 5 letters for him to open up each
Oh,
night
good.
before sleep to give him some reassuring words, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. But if any parents out there have any advice for first time campers or parents who are, we both sides go through separation
Yeah.
anxiety, leave them in the comments. So
I love
we
it.
got a lot to get to here in the next hour. If your group chats, and we're talking about the group chats that unfold on your phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I'm the only one for whom these group chats are kind of a fun / significant part of your day-to-day life. It's not all about scrolling social media and following the news. We're keeping in touch with each other via these group chats, and they sometimes take on a life of their own. Sometimes they last decades. Justine, I can't wait to get your take on that. And I have hit the streets to find out what is actually going down in people's group chat. So I can't wait for you to see the segment that we shot right out here on Michigan Avenue in just a moment or two. And then flag waving, synchronized spins, serious sparkle, everybody. We are going to speak live with the Riverside Brookfield color guard, because they have got a super busy weekend. Okay, it's 4th of July parade weekend, and they're like the color guard. They're like the centerpiece.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We've been talking about
So
Americana yesterday. Caitlin was mentioning the movie The Sandlot. You guys seen The Sandlot?
It's a classic.
It's a classic, and I think one of the coolest scenes of that movie. Do you guys remember the 4th of July montage?
Yes.
Slow mo.
Yep.
You know, all the fireworks, and I think they're playing "America the Beautiful" or one of those songs. This is like the kind of stuff we're getting into this weekend, right? I mean, up at the lake house, it's so
fireworks, sparklers.
Oh, I love it.
The whole
It's the best
thing.
weekend.
It is.
Although be careful with those sparklers. We're told 2,200 degrees. Who knew they were like little mini flamethrowers?
Right, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That
I'm
one-year-old
alarmed.
nephew of yours?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we have to hide?
Maybe give him the
smoke
pop-ins.
the pop-in thing. Those are a little
those are
a little
We should have
safer.
brought some today. We could have had some fun.
And I've always been so curious about the color guard too, like what draws them to that particular activity, kind of what goes into it, getting all synchronized, all that stuff, and the baton twirling. And so we're gonna speak live with some of the members of that. Can't wait for that. And then we're talking baseball. The great baseball debate is back. Chris K is going to be here to break down. This is kind of this is intense here. The best Cubs and Sox players over the last 25 years. 25 years. Oh my God.
Crazy?
Wow.
I was going all the way back to the 80s on some of my picks, and I'm like, wait, okay, I got to read the parameters. So this is like this century, because we're in 2025.
Yep.
You know, so we're going to speak with Chris K about that, who made the cut, and who got totally snubbed. All right, but without further ado, you guys, I want you to check out this story and watch very closely here. We're talking about group chats, the conversations that are unfolding all around us. Check it out here. At this point, smartphones are essentially appendages. We use them all the time, and we spend a lot of time talking about the dangers of social media and how toxic certain platforms are, but what often doesn't get mentioned are the group chats. I, for one, have 4 or 5 group chats with friends from different phases and stages of my life, and they are all extremely big parts of my day-to-day life. So today, we thought we would set out on the street and talk to other people about their group chats. Is group chatting a big part of your day-to-day life?
It is, very much so. I feel like that's how I do most of my communication with friends from the past or present. Yeah, definitely a lot of group chats, yeah.
They're kind of the worst. They're where information goes to die. They're really useful for setting up events and stuff. If I get put in a group chat, I'm immediately, how do I get out of this as quickly as possible?
How many group chats do you have among you, your friends, that kind of thing?
0.
That's not how you communicate with folks.
No, we gotta be communicating one-on-one, back and forth. All my business is not your business and everybody else's business. Because if I got a group chat, that means everybody know the business. There's some of them people I don't want to know all the business.
I have tons of group chats. I feel like I group chat more than I chat with just one person. Well, you've probably got kid friend groups, and then you've got your friends from high school, and then I don't know, it is different. A lot of it right now probably revolves more around them, but
yeah, agreed. It depends too if it's a male-female group chat, or if it's just all females. Because I think group chats annoy men, so I probably say less than if it's a female.
How many different text threads would you have? Like group chats are kind of a regular thing in your day-to-day life.
0.
Zero group chats.
Just my wife.
You got friends?
1.
Well, how many different group chats would you say you have?
Probably a lot, 20.
For your age group, is it Snapchat, is it TikTok, or is it just standard traditional text?
Snapchat.
And how do you keep track of 20 different threads?
We name them different things, so we can search them up and then just go to that group chat.
Okay, this is my girls' group chat from high school. So we all went to the same high school, so we've known each other for 20 years. And every so often we change the name of the group chat, which I highly recommend doing because it's really fun. So one girl just changed it. Currently, ours is Sister Jean. None of us went to Loyola. We someone named it Sister Jean one day.
How important are the group chats to your day-to-day routine, your mental health, staying connected with your friends? Run me through that.
It's good, especially for me to have
someone's talking Portuguese and like talk to the same things that we like about. It's very important, I think.
I feel like different people bring different things out of you, and it's very helpful no matter where you go to find a community. So one, you don't feel alone. I don't think we were put here to be by ourselves all the time, you know. So just even when you do feel like I know have been with my sorority sisters, it's 23 of us, and I grew up with boys, so I was like, how am I gonna deal with all these girls, you know? But they've really helped me in ways I never expected, for guidance, little things. I can say, hey, y'all know where this is? You know, if I'm lost, everyone's gonna try to figure it out for me. Everyone's gonna stop what they're doing, even if we don't talk every day, and be like, let's help Deja figure this out, you know. So I think it's good to know you're not by yourself. You do have family, you do have support, and it's a good feeling going through life.
Were those the answers I was expecting? Yes and no. I would say Deja put it so eloquently what these different group chats have come to mean to a lot of us. What I was super surprised about is the number of people who said, nope, don't text me, don't have it, only have one friend, don't even keep in touch with them using my phone. I want face-to-face interaction or a phone call. That is what shocked me the most. And thank you for watching. Yes, what question should I take to the streets next? Let us know in the comments. Since we already talked to Jenna, I want to get Justine's take on this whole thing. How did you react to that piece, and what kinds of thoughts did it cue up for you?
I absolutely love group chats. I love group chats. I love being able to talk to all of my friends in one place. I don't have to repeat myself.
Yes.
I don't have to like forget information. All that detail is in the threads. I have 2 group chats. I have one with my sisters. So if you don't know, I'm a triplet.
Oh, I did not know that.
I'm a triplet. I have 2 sisters.
Fun fact Friday.
Fun
Thursday.
fact.
Identical or?
We're
does that
fraternal, but it runs in the family. There's 11 sets of twins. So that's another story. I know, right?
We're going to have to do a deeper dive.
I was going to say, I have a lot of follow-up questions.
Yes, okay.
So I have 2
one's
sisters.
with your 2 sisters, the triplets.
And that group chat is called Womb Mates.
We've had
that.
Womb Mates.
We've had that group chat going since we had phones. And those are my girls. We talk every single day. One lives in Korea, one lives in Texas. So it's the best way to know everything that's going on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I have so many. When we do a deep dive on Justine and the triplets, I want to ask about telepathy and stuff like that.
I believe in it. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you. When that deep dive comes out.
We are going to go deep.
Yes.
Okay, how about what? You mentioned you have a couple
And then I have
go-tos.
another one with a bunch of my guy friends. It's called Shrimp Tacos. When I was still living in Detroit, we all had lived in Detroit at the time, they would text me randomly at 11 p.m., 12, 1 a.m. and say, hey, Justine, I'm hungry. I want something. You want to make shrimp tacos? And so ever since then,
it's been called that?
That's fair.
We call it shrimp tacos.
I love that.
Somebody just randomly changed your group chat name to Sister
There
Jean,
is
and it stuck?
I will quickly go into it. So have you guys ever played the game Salad Bowl?
No.
Okay, it's kind of like a charades-ish thing. So whenever me and my girlfriends, we do a girls' night once a month, we'll play this game, and you basically just, any person, place, thing, you write down on a piece of paper, and then there's 3 rounds, and you have to like basically explain the thing to your team.
Without naming the thing.
Without naming the team. For whatever reason, someone put Sister Jean as the thing, and the way they described it, we're trying to describe it, they're like, it's not pants, but, and everyone's like, gauchos, shorts, jeans. And so we thought it was the funniest thing. Few glasses of wine in. We were like, we're the funniest people in the entire world. And then someone changed it. And then the picture used to be Sister Jean.
That's great. You know what the thing is? That really speaks to why I actually wanted to take that question out into the universe, because I've got a couple unrepeatable names for group chats with my guy friends. And I think that one of the funny things, when my wife asked me, how's so-and-so, how's so-and-so? I have no idea. All we do is quote movies in this one thread. Well, how's so-and-so? Literally no clue. We only share articles on, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like there's a group identity to each one where there are inside jokes very specific to each thread.
Yes, 100%.
Is there ever a time that you guys mute your group chat?
Never.
Mute?
Mute.
Yeah, obviously during the shows, I've got to mute everyone. But sometimes, you do get that little bell with the thing through it, and you're like, oh, okay, these guys don't want to joke around right now about X, Y, and Z. How about you?
Yeah, I mute it sometimes when it's too much going on.
Yeah.
If we're going on a trip, we're planning a trip,
everyone's
giving the details,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll look at this later. I don't need all the notifications.
Absolutely, but that's a good thing. You can kind of mute it for the time being and then scroll back and catch up.
Yep.
I think some of mine get so out of control, I never even catch up. Like there are just, it's like.
I was gonna say I'm the reason people mute the group chat. Like I will be just like blah 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 blah, and some of my friends will just straight up be like, Jenna, I didn't read the last 8 or 9 texts. I don't know what you're talking about. So. Whatever.
We always need those type of people in the group chat.
We definitely do.
The group chat better.
Okay.
You need one of us.
Yes. One of the questions we were prompted to include in this show is, what's your weirdest group chat name? My answer to that is, I can't repeat the names of my group chats because they've evolved. It's just out of context. It's
Who's
not
coming
happening.
up with the group chat name?
It rotates. The only thing that I will say about my group chats is there's no chance I'm ever running for office. All right? No chance I'm ever running for office. And with that, thank you both a lot.
That.
Yeah, thanks for chiming in on that. All right, we're going to go to a quick break and we get to speak with members of the Color Guard out in Riverside, Brookfield, ahead of their big 4th of July parades. That is coming up. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. I'm going to go ahead and say that the holiday weekend is here because we have all kinds of fireworks displays happening tonight. It's not like they're waiting till tomorrow. There was way less traffic in the morning. I think people have gotten the July 3rd, eve of 4th of July memo.
I think people are ready. I saw in the office today, it's not that many people.
Yeah,
They're already on vacation.
Exactly. And this is a big weekend for color guards around. I mean, really across the nation, because this is big. This is the biggest parade weekend of the year, arguably. And so we have the pleasure of getting a special look at the Riverside Brookfield High School Color Guard, and we are going to be joined by 3 teammates: Jesselyn Chavez, hey, there they are,
hey.
Madison Mislinski, and Dakota Moliendo. Hey guys, can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi.
Wait, we have. It looks like we have a 4th person back there.
I'm the sponsor.
Oh, the sponsor. Okay, so you're not in the actual color guard. You make it possible for these three to be in it.
I do, yes.
Okay, very, very, very good. Well, welcome to all of you, Jesse, Madison, and Dakota. We want to know, let me start with Jesselyn. How did you first get involved, and what is your role in the color guard?
I am one of the twirlers. I first got invested in it. This is going to be my sophomore year. I got informed by these two where they helped me find what I really loved, and I wasn't really a fan of doing palms, and I was like, wow, this is very, very enlightening to me. So they really helped me find what I love.
And let me ask you this, Jesselyn. How long did it take you to you said you're a twirler. How long did it take you to master that baton? And what really goes into it? I like mess around with if I have a bat or something and I'm trying to look cool,
Yep.
I'll do it. But run us through kind of the cliff notes of how you learned to get good at that.
It took a lot of practicing, but it's kind of the same as if you have a broom and you're kind of just fiddling with it. That's kind of how it is. Like a bat, you kind of just got to get into the movement of it. But it took me a couple weeks to get down how the flag moves, but it's really, really fun, especially when you can see the flag going back and forth and learning new movements.
And so for people who aren't familiar with color guard, can you tell us a little bit about the history and why it's important?
Yeah, the history of color guard kind of originated from the military, where the military would have celebrations with flags to represent different flags, the American flag or different types of flags. So we kind of branched off of that, where now we kind of entertain or evoke emotions and just celebrate other things.
Madison, let's go over to you now. What is your role on the color guard and how did you get involved?
I'm the captain this year, and I went to a lot of football games because my brother, he was on the football team, so I always saw them during halftime, and I was like, wow, that looks really cool. I wonder if I could do that.
That's cool. So that was how long ago?
Probably 2023, I think.
Okay, and what does being captain entail?
It's kind of just making sure everyone can feel seen, and if there's a move that someone can't do, finding an alternative that they can do.
Oh, okay, got it.
So how do you guys figure out the routine? Do you come up with that? Do you guys come up with it all together?
Yeah, I think it's a team effort. If we find moves from a different color guard that we think are really cool, we can incorporate them into the movements that we do.
Got it. Dakota, it's your turn. Tell us your role on the color guard and how you got involved.
I'm just another flag twirler, and I got involved by going to the club fairs that RB offered and just seeing the color guard there, and they showed a few examples of what they do, and I fell in love with it immediately. I joined my freshman year, so I'm now going into my junior year, and I've just loved it ever since.
Okay, I gotta ask both the flag twirlers, have you ever messed up, and what happens when you do?
So I have dropped my flag multiple times, but it's honestly just your mentality. I just pick up my flag and keep going. If you really think about it, it's only you that's really, really frustrated about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of just a simple mistake, and you kind of just got to go off and keep going.
How about you, Dakota?
Yeah, I think it's important to know that you're the one that's really focused on your mistakes, so it's a little easier to get over messing up once you realize that everybody's in their own world and that it's okay to mess up a few times.
That attitude can apply to so many areas of life. No one is more worried about your mistakes or fixated on your mistakes outside of you 99 out of 100 times, don't you think?
Absolutely. If you don't make it noticeable, people won't notice.
Right.
You got to keep going. So when I was in high school, the color guard also played instruments. Do you guys play instruments too?
No. We've had members that have, so it is possible, but we really just weren't into instruments. But we definitely did have members that did play.
Got it. I want to get the sponsor involved in the discussion here behind you guys. What does sponsorship entail, and why do these talented individuals need a sponsor? Run us through that, because we are totally unfamiliar with color guard culture.
Well, sponsor is just kind of like coach, but I basically the adult that helps them. You know, I facilitate with the paperwork and with building admin and schedule practices and coordinate with the band director to make sure everything runs smoothly.
Got it. Okay, yeah, so the band director, so they're the one, let me clarify here. So the marching band is doing the tunes and you guys are doing all the visuals.
Yes.
Is that right?
Is there a favorite song that you guys like to perform to?
We did last year we did all Queen, so of the artist Queen. So that was very, very fun. We did Bicycle, Queen. Another one Bites the Dust. It was very, very fun.
I totally love that. All right, so what's your guys' itinerary over the next couple of days? I understand you're busy. Any of you can take that.
Tomorrow we are marching in 2 parades. We are marching in the Brookfield, Illinois 4th of July parade at 10 a.m. and then before that at 8 a.m. we are marching in the Riverside, Illinois 4th of July parade.
That is so exciting. So folks can check out the RB, as you call it, Riverside, Brookfield, Color Guard, and the marching band as well. 2 different times tomorrow morning. Where are those happening? Just so we know.
Riverside, Illinois, and Brookfield, Illinois.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Well, you guys have a blast. It's fascinating getting a little behind-the-scenes look. And hopefully we'll get some video footage sent in and we can follow up. Thank you all so much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck. Break a leg, guys. That's really interesting. I've always wondered how that all comes together, and especially, I have seen, when they throw up the baton, a little drop from time to time, and
they pick it up so swiftly, you don't even notice, and it's still, you're enjoying your time.
I used to pride myself on just doing the bat thing, but there's a whole technique to it. I do the fake version.
Right, when I am sweeping, I just try and wiggle it through my fingers.
Now, pen twirling, I'm a master at pen twirling.
Really?
Yes, I worked on it all through high school. I can do all kinds of
every single finger?
I can't do every finger, but I can do some random double, trust me, it's impressive.
We're gonna have to get you a pen one of these days.
It's impressive, all right? You're gonna be super, wow, Ponce and his pen twirling.
Never seen anything like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Okay, 10:34. We're going to take a couple minute break here, and then coming up, we are talking to Chris K, our sports guru. Here in 2025, he is going to revisit, and this is going to cause controversy, but that's kind of the reason we put it out there, the best Cubs players and the best Sox players from the last 25 years. The definitive list is coming up after this. Well, welcome back, 10:37 on your Thursday morning. The last 25 years of baseball here in Chicago have been anything but boring. We've had the highest of the high on both sides. 2005, Sox won the World Series. 2016, the Cubs won the World Series. So that's unbelievable. We've gone through eras of rebuilding. This past year, the Sox had one of the worst seasons in baseball history. But even through the ups and downs, standout players, unforgettable moments have kept fans talking. I believe Steve Bartman happened within the last 25 years. I think that was '03. People are still talking about that incident. So the big question on this 25-year mark of this century, who makes the cut for best Sox and Cubs teams of the past quarter century? Here to answer this burning question, Chris K. He's back, baby.
Yes.
He's back. Chris is our digital sports reporter. To break some of this down, maybe stir up some debate here. There's no way you're getting through this segment without generating tons of controversy, sir. So I already feel for you.
I appreciate it. I've already gotten some of that controversy. Chicago Sports Tonight, we unveiled the Cubs one, and immediately there was like, well, what about this guy? What about this guy? I was like, well, you know what? We've got to start somewhere.
Okay, so before we get to the lineups, all right, I want to ask you what the process was to narrow down this list and how tough was it?
It started with obviously longevity. Like, you can't just have a guy that was on the Cubs or the Sox or any Chicago team for just like 2 years, because at that point, like, that's not an all decade or all quarter century player. Like, they're not there for 25 years. Like, obviously players like Anthony Rizzo have to just be on the list because you can't have a guy that basically helped win a World Series and was the face of a team without being on that list. Paul Konerko, another one of those players too, where you have the gimmies, if you will. And then we start there, and then you just kind of start wondering, well, who fits in around those players? And you have difficult conversations like Giovanni Soto or Wilson Contreras, or Ian Happ or Alfonso Soriano. And especially in the pitching rotation too, where like there's a lot of really good pitchers, but when it comes to the amount of great pitchers, like there's maybe only a couple of them. So you have to figure out who are the good guys that are going to fit around the great ones.
Yeah, names like Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor kind of come up in my mind. Let me ask you this before we get to the list. Did you choose one player per position and have a little rotation of pitchers in a bullpen, or how did you guys narrow it down that way?
When discussion with John Shipman, sports executive producer, we decided that we're going to do just a starting rotation and then a closer. We could get in the weeds with the setup men. We can get in there with relievers, but like there have been so many of those. And those are a dime a dozen, really.
Right.
So
unless you're the New York Yankees and you have, what was his name? Mariano Rivera or something.
Yes, indeed.
And we haven't really had one of those, right? I mean, or maybe we have.
Well, if you're the White Sox, you had one of Bobby Jenks, but for the Cubs,
true.
that's the tough one. That's the big guy.
Okay, Chris, without further ado, you want to take us through these?
Yeah, so the White Sox one is actually still in development. We're finishing up that one. But when we go into the Cubs, obviously we have Wilson Contreras at catcher, Anthony Rizzo at first base. At second base, we have Nico Horner. This is a newer name that a lot of people were thinking, well, what about Addison Russell? What about Ben Zobrist? But there's a reason why we chose Nico Horner. And then shortstop, Javier Baez. You can't have a list without El Mago. Same with next to him, Chris Bryant at third base. But then you go to the outfield as well, where you have in right field, you can't have a Cubs list without Sammy Sosa. And then at center field, this one was a little bit of a debate because it was, well, this guy's only been here for a couple of years, but he's playing at an MVP level right now, which is Pete Crow Armstrong at center field.
Yeah.
And then you go into left field, which was the debate for me. That was the biggest one. And obviously when you look at catcher, it's, well, Wilson Contreras is here, but then he went to the Cardinals. So how do you pick a guy that basically just pulled a Benedict Arnold on a fan base? But
okay, you were about to mention left field, though. Let's get to left field.
But left field was the big one, which is Ian Happ or Alfonso Soriano, because Ian Happ has been here for much longer.
Did Moises Alou enter the conversation? Didn't he play left? Alou?
He did, but statistically, Happ and Soriano were better players in the outfield. So when you kind of measure it up that way, you think, okay, well, who's going to be the guy? And to me, it came down into deliberation with some of my most trusted Cubs fans that I know, but also other people around in the media that have been around the Cubs for the last 25 years. They said, well, you got to think of it this way. The Cubs didn't spend money on free agents until they signed Alfonso Soriano. They knew that once Sammy left, they needed a new face of the team. But then general manager Jim Hendry was still reluctant to be like, well, I'm not going to give big bucks to a guy that might be here for only a handful of years. So it came down to convincing him to spend that much money on a guy. And Soriano was the guy, and he was the face of that Cubs charge in 2007, 2008, 2009, going into the 2010s, where they won multiple NL Central titles. They went to the playoffs a handful of times, and he was the guy with his really high I think it was foot to knee stockings. Like it was very
I remember those.
recognizable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And he was that player. And not to say Ian Happ can't be that player, because who knows? In the next 25 years, we could revisit this again and say, hey, Ian Happ ended up being a pretty great player. Honestly, we're probably the best in left field we've seen in the last 25 years after that. But for me, Soriano changed the perception of what free agents consider a prize destination, which is Chicago. He changed the perception of that.
Okay, let's head to the pitching mound.
Well, we started obviously with John Lester.
Okay. Yep.
And then you go from there to Jake Arrieta.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I forgot. Oh man. Yeah. He didn't he have a Cy Young season or a couple of those before he left town?
He had a stretch. I believe it was like 2025, or excuse me, not 2025, 2015. All the way to like 2016, 2017, 2018, where he was one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Yeah,
by
like
far.
A 20-game winner, perennial.
Yeah, and I can't remember who they traded, but yesterday was the anniversary where they traded for Jake Arrieta with the Baltimore Orioles, and someone said, "Hey, Leo, happy anniversary to those who celebrate Jake Arrieta's arrival in Chicago," and he was one of I think the best pitcher there. Obviously, John Lester was the big name free agent signing, which you don't get without Alfonso Soriano. But then you have Arrieta and then Kyle Hendricks too, which kind of round out the modern day rotation of those players. Then after that, we chose Mark Pryor because if you want to look at Kerry Wood, if you want to look at a couple of those pitchers from the early 2000s, Mark Pryor had a better elite stretch there.
Then
and
Kerry
then you
Wood.
finish it out. Than Kerry Wood.
Really? Because I just remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when Kerry Wood set the strikeout record. Justine wasn't born yet. Just kidding. Just kidding. And by the way, she's from Michigan. So are you a Tigers fan?
I am a Tigers fan.
Yeah.
Yep. I actually just went to my first Cubs game yesterday.
Yeah, Justine just went to Wrigley Field for the first time yesterday.
There we go.
Yeah.
So she got to see PCA.
I did. I saw the crowds with their signs that say PCA.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool that he's even in the discussion. But I mean, deservedly so based on his performance so far. I want to explore a little bit more, looking back at that 03, 04, like Mark Pryor, Kerry Wood. So Pryor made the cut over Kerry Wood here. So it's Arrieta, Hendricks, Lester, Pryor,
and then Carlos Zambrano. You can't forget about
I remember him. Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah,
this guy, Justine, was a hard throwing dude. Yeah, I remember he had some emotional issues, if memory serves. But he was strong.
I think he leads all Cubs pitchers in Gatorade containers smashed with a bat. And
right.
you have to put that into context too, especially if you're going to remember the Big Z, because he was emotional. But man, was he good?
Right.
We forgot how good he was.
Well done on the list. Well done. I think. Okay. How about? Did you guys do manager or no?
That comes later in the summer.
Okay. All right. So, where are you in the process of narrowing down the White Sox here?
Right now, at White Sox, we're stuck on second base. That's the one spot we're kind of struggling with a little bit, because when you look back at the last 25 years of the White Sox, they really haven't had that many second basemen that have really stood out. Obviously, Ray Durham in the beginning of the 2000s was a guy that had over 10 wins above replacement, which is a big statistic that you look at. But when he was only here for a couple of years in the 2000s, I think. And we started this exercise in 2001 because technically, if you're going to do 25 years, it's 2001 all the way to
right.
2025. And Ray was here for beginning of the 2000s and then was traded to I believe the Milwaukee Brewers. But I think at that point you start to look at it and say, well, how can you include a guy that was here for just a year or two? And it's tough because other players like Tejada Iguchi was one of the final pieces of that 2005 World Series team where he led off games where he would get on base and then someone like Aaron Rowland would drive him home. That was the whole point of him leading off. And as a defensive second baseman too, he's fantastic. But right now, that's where we're held up on, just try to kind of comb through the weeds, making sure we're not leaving a stone unturned. But we had some difficult decisions there too, like Alexi
When are you
Ramirez
guys unveiling the Sox lineup?
That to be Sunday morning.
Okay. Before we let you go, because we're getting short on time, Chris, what was the biggest piece of pushback you've gotten so far about the Cubs lineup?
Oh, it was not the inclusion of Ben Zobrist, which was
because
really
he was like
difficult.
the World Series hero, if memory serves.
He was the World Series hero, got that double that scored the go-ahead run, even though Miguel Montero had technically the game-winning run. But if you look at that specific inclusion, it was going up against Aramis Ramirez. Aramis Ramirez was, for the better part of a decade, a fixture with the Cubs lineup. And it was tough to include Zobrist, who was here for the better part of just about 3 or 4 years, over a guy that, if put in the same position in the World Series, it's hard to argue that the outcome wouldn't have been the same.
Okay, Chris K., thank you, sir. Good luck getting through this. You guys are going to have to do a lot of mental gymnastics to get this lineup unveiled by Sunday, but I'm glad you're doing it. And I think you guys really made solid contact with the ball for the Cubs, man. So congrats. Good stuff.
Chris.
I like the pun. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, Chris K. Sorry, Justine. We were going, literally inside
sports
baseball
talk,
there.
I'm just like, okay. It just sounds like numbers and letters to me, and I'm like, okay.
Well, tell me about your impressions of Wrigley Field.
I loved the food. I was there for the snacks, a nice little drink, and
Did you sit in the bleachers or did you sit?
So
in
actually,
the
I had
stands?
the Catalina Club tickets,
yeah.
right?
Ooh,
so
fancy,
I won
fancy.
them. I won them from the sales team.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh.
So I got to really experience it the best way.
Oh
it was
my gosh.
such a great time.
Well, you know what? You're gonna have to even that out at some point and
Uh-huh.
sit, out in the bleachers, get crazy, get crazy
I
out
plan on
there.
it.
The Catalina Club. You can get crazy there too, but it's very upscale.
It is. It
very
is.
upscale,
Right. I
yes,
had some
indeed.
good. I had some good food.
All right, very, very good. We're going to take a quick break, and then Justine is going to take us through all the cool stuff going on in and about town in her Weekend Outlook segment that is coming up right after this, so stay with us.
my God. You look like the 4th of July. It makes me want a hot dog real bad. Oh my God. You look like the 4th of July.
Iconic, to say the least.
Little known fact, you know, my dad's this like longtime serious Chicago journalist. One of his favorite movies is Legally Blonde.
No way.
Really?
He and my sister used to watch that all the time.
Oh, I love
He loved the
Legally
courtroom scene at the very end.
Yes, or the Bend and Snap. Do you remember the Bend and Snap?
That's right.
Of course. I still always quote that.
All right, so this weekend in Chicago, packed with something for everyone. What we got cooking, Justine?
There are so many things to do this weekend. We've got fireworks shows, NASCAR is in town, Keisha Cole is performing. Everything that you could possibly want, we've got it this weekend. So let's take a look at the video. Chicago is lighting up the 4th of July weekend, literally and figuratively. I'm Justine Baker, here to tell you everything that's going on in Chicago. Let's start with Big Boom. Navy Pier is skipping shows on the 4th, but you can catch shows on the 2nd and 5th. And beyond the city, Evanston, Oak Lawn, Naperville, and more suburbs are all lighting up the sky around 9:30. Now to the streets. NASCAR is back in downtown Chicago. The Chicago Street Race revs up with fan fests, live music, and races all weekend long. And for music lovers, Keisha Cole in Chicago, Green Sky Bluegrass, and more are all playing around town. And sports fans, take your pick. Cubs versus Cardinals at Wrigley, the Chicago Dogs, and all that NASCAR action. Long story short, Chicago is on fire this weekend, and we're not just talking about fireworks. For the full list of events, visit fox32chicago.com.
And when we come back after this short break, we're going to run through our own weekend plans and what we would vote for. With such a big menu of options for what to do this holiday weekend, we'll be right back. Okay, before we wrap up, we're going to kind of run through some of the recommendations we have, and we might take a little inspiration from you today, Justine, because I understand you have a very special visitor in town in Chicago this weekend on the holiday weekend. So tell us who's coming to town and what your plan of attack is.
I do. So my mom's in town. She comes to visit me all the time, but she lives in Michigan. But before this, I lived in Seattle, so I didn't get to see her often. So now she's really taking advantage of it. So we're just
It's
going to do
adorable.
all the touristy things. I think we'll head to NASCAR. We're going to visit my aunt for a little barbecue. And then she wants to hit Shedd Aquarium.
Oh.
She saw our show a couple days ago about the little...
Visit Jade?
Visit Jade. And she's like, what did they end up naming her? And I'm like, Jade.
Oh, so she's
we'll
been
go
following
see. She's been
along?
watching. So I said, we'll
Friend
go
of the
check her
show?
out. Yes. She's probably watching right now.
All right,
I love it.
Justine. We're so grateful to have Justine. Thank you. You obviously did something right, Mrs. Baker. All right. So, what else are you guys gonna do? Let's see. You got pretty focusing on downtown.
Yeah, so we'll probably stay downtown for the most part, but I know there's a Keisha Cole concert that's super trendy online. Everyone's trying to go to that, so we might do that. And then barbecuing. We love to
it.
barbecue.
Same.
I love to get on the grill, burgers, hot
Are you
dogs.
a grill? Like you grill?
I grill all the time.
Oh my God,
If
no one
you
would.
follow me on Instagram, you're seeing me grill.
What do
all
you
the
like
time.
to What do you like to throw on there?
Chicken
mostly?
wings, barbecue chicken wings. That's my go-to.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Super
So
easy.
good.
You throw them on, let it do the work itself.
Yes,
Easy.
indeed.
What are you guys doing this weekend?
Ooh, so I am going to a barbecue today. We have another little neighborhood gathering tomorrow, and then Saturday night. I mentioned to you guys that Theo's heading off to camp. So he's going with 3 friends, and what I wanted to do, I'm hosting them for a little pre-camp sleepover. All right, at our house, and our plan is this: pizza, bonfire, and I'm gonna do a little screening of one of my favorite coming-of-age movies of all time for the 4 of them. That's called Stand By Me. Okay.
Great movie.
Fun.
So this is for those unfamiliar, Stand By Me, based on a Stephen King novel, but it's 4 friends who go on an adventure through the woods, and they kind of go rogue, and there's a lot of there's some serious content, but it's the leeches scene. Yeah, the leeches scene.
I still have nightmares about that.
But when I found out he was going to go with 3 other friends, I was like, this is kind of one of those movies. I want him to be a little bit on the bonded side as they go off on this adventure. So that's our plan for Saturday night. So that's happening on Saturday night. Jenna, how about you?
We'll go
This is the Lake House weekend.
Ho Chunk Casino. Everyone
baby.
cross your fingers. So hopefully you won't see me Monday. Hopefully I'll have won a lot of money.
Okay.
But if not, it'll still be fun. Like I said, we got the nephew going, my brother and 2 sisters. So we'll just be, I'll probably come back burnt. It'll be great.
Okay. Well, everybody have a great holiday weekend. We're not going to be here for the holiday tomorrow here on Chicago Now, but we are going to be back on Monday with all the trending stories. Everybody have a great holiday weekend. Stay cool out there, especially on Saturday. Have a great one. We'll see you.